Welcome to Historical Judgments. On trial today, Napoleon Bonaparte, the French titan who once shook the world. Hold your breath, the trial begins now. You rose from obscurity to become the Emperor of France. Was this ambition driven by a desire for personal glory or a genuine wish to improve France?
I rose from obscurity, not for personal glory, but to uplift France from the ashes of the revolution. Glory is the byproduct of great deeds.
You implemented the Napoleonic Code, which is often praised, but it also rolled back many progressive reforms of the French Revolution. Were you more interested in control than in genuine equality?
The Napoleonic Code was a necessary structure to stabilize a nation that was rife with chaos. Perfect equality is an illusion. What people need is fairness and order.
You plunged Europe into constant warfare during your reign. Was the devastation and loss of life worth it for your ambition?
Power is a tool, not a mistress. I may have wielded it boldly, but it was always in the service of a greater vision for France.
You famously said, "Power is my mistress." Did you ever consider the suffering your lust for power may have caused?
Wars are never sought, but are the unfortunate result of ambition and resistance. France needed to establish its presence, and sometimes that comes at a high price.
You were exiled to Elba after your defeat. How did it feel to lose your power and be confined to a small island?
Elba was not a defeat, but a temporary setback. A true leader is not defined by his falls, but by his rises.
During the 100 Days, you returned to power and again led France into war, only to be defeated once more. Was your ego more important than the well-being of France?
My return during the 100 Days was for France, not for my ego. I hoped to reclaim what was ours. Unfortunately, not all battles are won.
You were an innovative military strategist, but many of your battles resulted in heavy casualties. Did you view these soldiers as mere pawns in your grand game?
In war, there are always casualties. Each soldier was not a pawn, but a brave heart fighting for their homeland. The real tragedy would be to forget for their sacrifice.
Your defeat at Waterloo was the end of your reign. Do you take responsibility for this defeat, or do you blame others for your failure?
Waterloo was a collective failure, not just my own. As the leader, I take responsibility, but defeat is a complex result of many factors.
In your final exile to St. Helena, you lived in relative isolation and hardship. Do you feel this was a fitting punishment for your actions?
St. Helena was harsh, but punishment? No. It was a time of reflection. One cannot lead without understanding the consequences of their actions.
Reflecting on your life, the upheaval you caused, and the pain and suffering that resulted from your actions, can you honestly say that you were a force for good? How do you justify your actions? And do you see yourself as a good person? Or do you accept the possibility of being seen as a villain?
I stirred the world, yes. Some pain and suffering, yes. But progress demands sacrifice. I see myself as a necessary force, one that shaped the course of history. As for good or villain, that is for history to decide.
Your turn to join the trial, folks. We've heard Napoleon's answers, now we want to hear from you. Share your judgment in the comments. Napoleon Bonaparte, a hero or a villain? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.